What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we have the keys to the newest generation Ford Mustang GT with the track performance package and a 6-speed manual. Big shout out and thank you to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this GT Mustang for today's video. Take a look at their website linked down below. They have an insane selection of nearly brand new cars ready to go and in stock, so check them out. So let's get right into this V8 powered muscle car. Powering this Ford Mustang GT, you're going to find a naturally aspirated 5-liter 8-cylinder engine. This V8 pumps out 460 horsepower with 420 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired to a 6-speed manual transmission. A 10-speed automatic is also available. It sends all the power to the rear wheels through a limited slip rear differential and can do 0 to 60 in the mid 4-second range with quarter-mile time around 12.2 seconds. Top speed is around 155 miles per hour, and then all running on a 16-gallon fuel tank. You're looking at 15 miles per gallon in the city with 24 out on the highway, and then an overall curb weight at 3,800 pounds. The overall length is 188.5 inches with a wheelbase at 107.1. Height is 54.3 and width is 75.4 inches. Moving on to the exterior styling now with Ford's iconic Mustang GT. This metallic gray color has a really cool look, especially with all the blacked out accents. Up front, we get a set of LED headlights, and you can see these LED DRLs. They turn on in a really nice white color. Then we get our Mustang logo on the far left side, and then a little bit of chrome and black in the housings. They also feature projector beams. We get your turn signals down below. You can see an LED light on the inside. And then there's a trim piece on the farthest side of the bumper with a ton of really sharp angles in the lower portion of this bumper. The GT also has a very large plastic black splitter up front, protrudes outwards quite a few inches to give it that extra aggression. And then we get the same color on this lower grille to allow more cooling to the engine, and then gloss black in the upper grille with the Pony logo right in the center finished in chrome. And the grille design really does fit nicely with this front end. A lot of sharp lines to make this car stand out. Then you can see how the sharp lines lead their way towards the hood with 2 heat extraction vents up top with sharp lines in the center of the hood as well as the farthest side going towards the windshield. And then moving to the side profile, we get the upgraded set of performance wheels finished off in gloss black. They're 19 inches in diameter and they have a multi-spoke design. You can also see the Brembo brakes up front. We get the 5.0 badge on the back side of this front fender and then a really sharp body line cutting through the side profile towards the rear. The lower portion of these doors also have some good molding and a trim piece on the farthest side to match that front splitter. We also get a set of body colored door handles and body colored mirror caps with more of the plastic black trim beneath them and around the window trim. You can also see how we have sharp lines in the roof that mimic what we saw up front on the hood. And then the overall side profile, this is the fastback, that's what they call their coupe. It has the low slung rear end and it really fits the design really well. You can also see how all these sharp lines look, especially around this rear fender. You can see the farthest one back here, and then there's one on the top of the fender to give it that wider appearance. And then moving to the rear end, the track pack gives it this really nice pedestal spoiler mounted on the trunk, has a really tall and wide appearance, and I think it really adds to the sculpture of a Mustang GT. We get your GT badge right in the center finished in chrome and a backup camera above that. There's also gloss black in this section here, and then we get our LED taillights. They're a 3-dimensional design finished with red housings, and you can also see just how nice the LED looks. You can see how it's a C shape, and it really fits the iconic 3-bar look that a Mustang is supposed to have. There's sharp lines and parking sensors all throughout the rear bumper, then a massive rear diffuser. You can see our reverse light right in the center with some really sharp fins, and then our dual quad exhaust. And then to move on to the interior, we can take Ford's key fob, get your lock button right in the center, and keeping it in my pocket, all I have to do is grab the door handle. It automatically unlocks, and we can check out this interior. This is the GT Premium, so we're gonna see leather on the interior, and we also have some carbon fiber goodies. So you can see a really nice black design with a little bit of silver accents. Moving our way to the door panel, finished off all in black. We have some smooth black leather down below with a little bit of padding, and then Alcantara up on top here with white stitching. Has a really clean look. We have our grab handle on here, and then your window controls and mirror controls, along with lock and unlock and the release handle. There's a little bit of storage down below, and then your Mustang logo on this aluminum colored door sill. There's also power controls on the left side of the seat with your manual recline, And then you can see the two-tone seats with smooth black leather and all the stitching, and then perforated Alcantara all in the center. Has a really nice design, pretty large bolsters down here, and same with your back bolsters. You can see how the Alcantara goes its way up the seat, all the way up to white stitching along the headrest, and then spinning around to a black leather steering wheel with silver trim. And then now inside the GT, keeping my foot on the clutch, we can go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster now, we have an analog tach over on the left side with engine temperature, then your speedometer to the right with your fuel. We have a small LCD display right in the center, and you can configure that using the controls on the right side of the steering wheel. So right now we have our digital speedometer. If I scroll down, you can see a lot more information within the car pressures. I can even hit OK and see a nice little gauge for those same items. I can then hit the back icon. We have a few more things that'll come up, like all your trip and fuel information. We have our track apps. You can see your accelerometer, a timer, brake performance. We of course get line lock, launch control, rev matching you can turn on and off. Then we even have driver's assistance that will come up with a few different things you can see here for some safety, and then finishing out with some settings that you can adjust. Along the steering wheel over on this left side, we have all your volume controls for audio, some cruise control settings, then a few more settings over on the right side. We have the stalk on the right for windshield wipers, and then turn signal stalk to the left. And then on the left side of the steering wheel, we have a trunk release button, then a little storage area. This will come out for some smaller items. You can see some really nice carbon fiber around the light switch, then one of your air vents, and then some black leather with stitching with this double bubble on the dashboard. Has that iconic Mustang look, and you even get a Mustang badge over on the right, and then all the glossy carbon fiber throughout the center. And then right in the center, we have two air vents with an oil pressure gauge and the vacuum for the engine. And then the Sync 3 touchscreen system. We have all of your climate controls that can come up right here. You can see all the different zones, dual zone temperature. We have audio that comes up, your phone integration as well. Then you get a few apps and then all of your settings. If I go ahead and take the car and put it into reverse, your backup camera pops up with all of your parking sensors as well as your guidelines. And then going back into neutral, we have some controls down below for all the radio, tuning and volume, on off switch, and then physical climate controls down below. Heated and ventilated seats, your fan speed as well as the air conditioning. And then down below all that, we have our engine start stop button, traction control. We have two different toggles over here for drive modes. We can toggle this one for your steering wheel. You can see the 3 different modes you get. And then we have a similar one for the actual drive modes. We have a normal mode, sport plus, track, drag, and then we get a snow and wet mode. So very cool to see how that all works. We have a little bit of storage here, then a nice carbon fiber shift knob. Very nice, the few mods that are on this car. You get your traditional manual parking brake, 2 cup holders on the right side, some leather and stitching on the armrest, and then a pretty good amount of storage space. And then over to the glove box, this opens up, and you have a pretty normal amount of space as you would expect. And then one last look at the interior. I really like the Alcantara accents for this particular spec. Definitely looks nice and premium, and then all of the carbon fiber you cannot go wrong with. Up top, we have a frameless mirror and then dome lights. The Ford Mustang is also a 4-seater. If you grab the handle on the back side of these front seats, we can slide this out of the way and you can get a little bit better access to the rear. You can see the same Alcantara with all the perforations in the center. Has a really premium design, and then the smooth leather and stitching. We also get a very deep bucket seat back here, which is pretty cool to see. Alright guys, so now sitting in the back of the Mustang GT, extremely comfortable back here, as you can tell. I'm 5'11", and with the driver's seat set at my height, my knees are nice and squished in between the two. It's not the worst thing back here. I mean, being a two-doored car, I mean, you can fit 2 people back here in a pinch, so 4 people could go cruising in your Mustang. However, it is definitely a little bit tight for anybody who's not a child. Obviously not too much headroom, but nonetheless, you know, they are super usable. And then onto the trunk storage space, you can tap the button on the interior, double tap the one on the key fob, or there is one on the rear bumper which you can press. That'll pop open, we can lift this up. We have pretty good amount of storage space in here. We do have the addition to the subwoofer, but overall it's a pretty good sized trunk space for being on the smaller side of cars, being a two-doored. pretty squared off with an extra cubby on this left side. And if you grab the handles on the inside of the rear, you can fold down the back seats to get a little bit extra storage space. With the door open, we'll take a look at how everything looks. They fold nearly flat in 2 separate pieces, and the opening to the trunk is actually pretty large to fit pretty big items in a Mustang. All right guys, so we are setting off now in the Mustang GT. The 6-speed manual is absolutely the transmission to get if you're gonna get one of these cars. I've driven a lot of the automatics. They're quicker, of course, in a straight line, but if you're actually gonna take this on the track in the mountains and you wanna have fun with it, I think the automatic is just super laggy, just not a fun transmission. 6-speed, I really like the way this feels. The shifter is super notchy and pretty easy to use. The clutch pedal is really light, actually. It's really not too heavy for being, you know, big old V8. So as far as normal driving, let's get some comfort feelings in these seats. They're really comfortable. I like how padded they are, and the bolsters are actually pretty large for not even being the Recaros, to where when you do hit the turns, you're pretty secure in this car. It's a really good view out the front. You have a huge windshield, and you can see some of the sharp lines within the hood. And then all the mirrors do a pretty good job letting you see what's going on behind you. And visibility over your left and right shoulder is actually pretty good. This is a car you can genuinely use as your daily driver all day long. So we have some twisty turns. Let's go ahead and play with some fun modes. We'll go into the track mode. I'm going to hit OK, and then the steering, we'll keep that into the sport mode. I have rev matching on, just to make it sound a little bit cooler for the video. Of course, you can turn that off and do all of your own rev matching, which is pretty easy in this car. So we got a pretty healthy motor. It's pretty quick, you know, it's not exactly the fastest thing in the world, but it is very adequate for its size. If you really want power though, of course the Shelby's gonna do what you want it to do. But nonetheless, you know, it's a pretty peppy engine. In this drive mode, it's pretty good handling too. We're going around 60, wow, those Brembos do a good job. But even taking turns, it seems to carry its weight pretty well. And I just like how it's a pretty good blend of everything, like I've already said. I really like the shifter, especially with the carbon fiber. I think that's a really cool touch. But yeah, handling wise, not too bad for a muscle car. Not bad. I was about 60 to 75 or so. And the V8 sound, this is probably one of the best V8 sounds out there. It is just such a crisp engine sound. I love the way it sounds, has a good deep rumble. I'm pretty sure this is all stock. Alright, we'll do a little bit of a first gear acceleration. Of course, we do have some miles on this car. Let's feel it out a little bit more. That was about to 60. So yeah, not too bad. You know, you got to wring out first gear a little bit to really carry the power. But you know, if you're going to modify this car, you can certainly do that. Even throw a supercharger or even a twin turbo, make this really crazy fast. But overall, normal driving, it's just a good, well-balanced sports car. You got that muscle car feeling to it, and I really can't complain too much. It's a nice overall car. All right, flipping over to the point of view so you guys can immerse yourself in a GT Mustang. Yeah, I love the engine sound. Steering feels also pretty good in the sport mode now. Has a good amount of weight to it. It's not crazy heavy. If we go into comfort mode, it certainly lightens up. But the actual response from when you hit you know, the steering wheel, when you turn it and do stuff with it, it really does communicate well to the car. There's not any vagueness to it. It's a little bit of body roll, I would say, because it does have some weight to it. But not too bad. We'll slow down now, do a first gear acceleration, kind of feel it out, the power a little bit more. So pretty quick. I mean, it's a fun car to drive, it really is. And then just to look at the fit and finish, I love this carbon fiber. I believe that's an option from Ford. I don't think that's aftermarket. Has a good look in here. There are a lot of plastics. Pretty much everything you touch is plastic. These feel like metal, but it's hard to tell, but they really do feel nice. You know, all the aluminum color does feel pretty nice. This is pretty much on par with what you're going to expect with the competitors. I think this is a nicer interior than the Chrysler and the Chevy. So I think Ford is on top in that regard. It could see some updating. Hopefully, you know, maybe 2023, we're gonna see a new generation, because this has been out for quite a while now. But yeah, and really not much to complain about. And then the view around, you know, visibility, not bad at all. And with the track pack, you know, you got that wing, better brakes and things like that. It's a really good blend. So I think that's about it then for the all new generation, the newest generation I should say, for the Ford Mustang GT, the Premium Coupe. Got the 6-speed, the way to go, the track pack, really, really good spec. Huge shout out and thank you once again to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this Mustang GT for today's video. Definitely check out the link to their website, linked in the description. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.